All right, we have another question here. How do I recognize if a law firm purchased the debt? Can a law firm place the original creditor as the plaintiff? In other words, how do I recognize if it is purchased debt? The way that you recognize if it's purchased debt is when you submit your answers and you do two things. Two things, and this is a funny story. This true story with a past client. I said, I need you to do something. We're going to answer your court summons, but I need you to do something. I need you to call them and ask them, do they own the debt? Did they buy the debt, or is this being collected for the original creditor? And reason why is because their court summons was like confusing. It was like this thing is confusing. They're going first, they're going with a collector, then they're going with the original creditor. Collect like who owns this? And they didn't submit any affidavits or nothing. So what I did is I said, call them. You have a right to call them and ask them that question. And this is what happened. They hung up. They hung up, and when he called back, they always kept hanging up. And let me tell you the reason why. Number one, the debt was purchased by them, and they filled out that court summons. It was a false, it was incorrect information on there. And now they knew that he knew, and they didn't want to keep the recording on there because he could subpoena the recordings from them because they always say, hey, this is a debt collector, attempting to collect the debt, you are being recorded, anything that you say, blah, blah, blah. They're saying that on there. And so they hung up and they kept hanging up, and it just like they just disappeared. They never did come back. They never did follow through with the lawsuit. So the first thing you should do is you should give them a call, and you should say, ask them, hey, I have a question. Do you own this debt, or are you coming after me for the original creditor? What's the relationship between me, you, the original creditor? What's going on here? And then you should also do a debt validation inside of your court summons response. I'm not sure. Yeah, in your court summons, you should also ask for that. So when they say the plaintiff, original creditor as the plaintiff, you should also, inside of that allegation, state that you would like to know if the plaintiff is really coming to sue you, or they just, put that on there. Another way that you could check it too is you could look at your credit reports and you can see if the debt says canceled or sold. It can say that in the comment section. Now, if it says cancel, let me tell you something, a little strategy that you could use if it says cancel. Hope no debt collectors are watching this. If it says, well, it doesn't matter if they're watching it because if it says cancel, this is your legal right to at least find out. When when original creditors do what's called a cancellation of debt, 1099-C cancellation of debt, what they will usually put on your credit reports is canceled. They will have charge off, but it also will say in the comments, canceled. If it says canceled and they send a cancellation of debt to the IRS, they cannot come after you for the money, and a debt collector cannot come after you for the money. It's over with. The IRS is going to consider that income to you, and they're going to try to tax you on that additional income, but they cannot sell it to a debt collector. But what we've seen happen is debt collectors, they buy this in big bulks, big packages of debt. They don't just buy one at a time. They buy thousands at a time. Some other videos that I show, they buy like 4 or 5 thousand accounts at one time, and a canceled account could accidentally be added into that purchased package. And so what you would do is you could put in your court summons response, you always have to respond. And you can put on there that you're not even sure that this debt is legitimate because the creditor, the original creditor, placed on your credit reports that it is canceled, and that a canceled debt was potentially sent to the IRS, and that this whole case should be dismissed based on it being either proven that it's a canceled debt or potentially that it's a cancellation of debt. And then the other thing that you could do is you could call up the original creditor and just ask them flat out, uh, did you cancel this debt or was this debt sold? And you can find out that way. So don't leave it up to, especially when you have law firms that put the original creditor on there, they'll do that, and they're not, they're kind of skirting the rules when they file it that way. And if you don't know what to ask, they're going to get away with it. So I hope that helped you out. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Uh, Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. If you can follow that process, we invite you to become a customer. If you need your reports and scores, because what I just gave you with that information there, that knowledge about looking at the comments to see if it's a canceled debt, they will not normally show that on those free credit report places. And then you go to the number 3scores.com, get your reports, get your scores, look at the comments in there. That could potentially save you from having to go to court. Also, the links are below here for the CIS collection activities letter, statute of limitations letter, and the debt validation letter. So I invite you to look at all of those. So I'm in the video here. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder, CreditRepairShop.com. Thank you until next time.